Hello everyone and welcome to my short stretch video. Before you take part in these stretches, please make sure that you have consulted with a healthcare professional or your consultant so that you've got the all clear to take part in this stretch video. Right, to begin with, I want you to loosen up your shoulders a little bit. So you can sit with your legs crossed or you can stretch out your legs, whatever you prefer. What I want you to do is just bring your shoulders backwards, just rotate them a few times, really lift the shoulder blades off the back to open up the shoulders. Only go as far as you can and you're comfortable with. Lovely. And once you've done a few, you go the other way and you bring your shoulders forward. You might notice that one side is a little bit more restricted than the other one. That's totally normal, especially if you are right-handed and a bit more dominant on the right-hand side. You tend to get a bit more tightness on that dominant side. Lovely. Once you've loosened up the shoulders, I want you to sit cross-legged if you can. However, if that's too uncomfortable for you, you can sit again with your legs out straight, whatever you prefer. Especially if your hips are a bit tight, this can be a little uncomfortable. What I want you to do is bring your hands together as if you were praying. You bring your thumb onto your breastbone and your middle finger underneath your chin, and you take a deep breath in. And when you breathe out, you just rotate a little bit to one side, and when you breathe in, you come back to the center. When you breathe out, you go the other way. When you breathe in, you come back to the center. So this exercise is brilliant for mobilization of the mid-back, especially if you've got some problem with the ribs, for example, and you're quite stiff in the middle of the spine. And this exercise opens up the chest very, very nicely. Good, lovely, and stretches all the muscles in the ribcage. Especially when you try and get in the breathing pattern as well, it will really engage your diaphragm, so that's the muscle between your abdominal cavity and your chest cavity, and that will help with breathing and therefore with rib mobility. Just once more on the other side. Good. And because we started on the left hand side, once more on the other side. Good. Lovely. And relax your arms down. Next thing I want you to do is counter your hands and your knees. 4-point kneeling position. You try and place your hands under your shoulders. You can bring your hands flat on the mat if that's better for you, but if you've got a bit of pain in the wrists, it's normally easier to put your fist on the mat. And we're going to do the cat and the cow. You breathe in one direction and you breathe out the other direction. You can pick which movement you want to use to breathe in and which one you want to use to breathe out. Completely up to you. And again, start out with small movements and then you increase the movement as you notice that your mobility increases. Very good. So also a good mobility exercise for the pelvis, especially if you have some tightness in that area. And very good for the ribs. Just once more. One way and well done. And after that we go into the cat stretch. So you bring your hands out in front of you and you push your bum onto your heels. You don't need to bring your head onto the mat, whatever you prefer. If you go lower down with your bum, you feel more of a stretch in the upper back. If you focus more onto pushing your hands forwards, you feel more of a stretch in the lower back. Whatever you prefer, both of them are really nice. And just lean into the stretch And breathe out. And as you breathe out, you might notice that you can go just a little bit further down towards the mat. And one more deep breath in and all the way out. Lovely. Well done. And we gently lift ourselves back up. And the next muscle group we're going to focus on is our hip flexors. Right. So what you do is you bring one leg in front of the other leg. So you should have about 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, but it isn't important. But you should have roughly this alignment. You bring your hands onto your hips. You try to tuck in your pelvis, so don't over arch the back. Tuck in the pelvis and just gently lean forwards so that you can feel a stretch here in front of the hip. You can either keep your hands here, you can rest your hands onto your thigh, but don't lean onto it. Just gently ease into the stretch so you can feel how it's pulling in your thigh, a little bit here in front of your hip as well. And again, when you notice, as you notice, you might be able to go just a little bit further after a few seconds. Lovely, well done. If you want to, you can include a rotation as well. So you bring your opposite arm across your thigh and you rotate around and look over your shoulder. Well done. Good. You come back to the center and we're going to swap legs. Other leg in front of us. Again, 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, 90 degrees roughly here. Hands on the hips and we lean forward again so you can feel the stretch in front of your hip joint as well as the thigh. And again, you can rest your hands onto your thigh, but don't lean onto them, or you just keep them right in here. Keep the pelvis tucked, don't overarch your back. And we can involve a rotation again, so opposite arm across the thigh, then relaxes and you look over the shoulder. And you should notice more of a stretch all the way in your spine. And just relax, lean into the stretch just a little bit more. Especially if you sit a lot during the day, your hip flexors can be quite short. So stretching them out every day is actually quite a good thing to do. Lovely. Then we go back into our normal position. Right, and now we're going to lie onto our backs to stretch out a few other muscles. Okay, so what you guys do is you're going to stretch out into a full body stretch. So all your legs and everything are stretched out, your arms are right next to your body, and what you do is you bring one knee towards your chest to feel the stretch at the back of the pelvis and then the lower back. If you want to, you can lift up your head as well and just increase the stretch a little bit. But again, if that's too much, please don't do it. Also, if you suffer from osteoporosis, for example, it's better to keep the head down. Good. Once you've done that, what you can then do is bring the hip out a little bit. But try to keep your opposite bum on the mat. So you're still kind of pulling the knee towards you, but you're also pulling it out. So you should feel the stretch a little bit more in the groin. So a deep breath in and all the way out. And again, deep breath in and all the way out. You can also stretch out the opposite hand, so bring it all the way out. Then you feel a bit more of a stretch in the back. If that's too much, you can bring it back in. Lovely. You swap hands. You bring the leg all the way across. This time, you can lift your bum off the floor. You can bring the arm out again. You look the opposite way, away from the knee again. And again, a bit of a stretch This is a bit more for your bum muscles and your lower back. And again, nice stretch and a deep breath in and all the way out. Good. Well done. And you bring that leg down. We do the same thing on the opposite side. So other leg towards your chest to stretch out the pelvis and the lower back. And if you want to, you can lift up your head and bring your head and your knee a bit closer together to intensify the stretch. But please don't do it if you do have osteoporosis or if it's too much. As long as you feel the stretch, you're doing it correctly. Lovely. And now you're going to bring the leg out. You try to keep the opposite bum on the floor. Ease into the stretch, don't overdo it. Look the opposite way. And if you want to, you can bring the arm out again. Intensify the stretch a little bit. If it's too much, don't worry. Just keep the arm by the side of your body. Good. And swap your hands. Pull the leg across. Lift the opposite bum off the mat. You can stretch the arm out again, the opposite arm. Look the other way and feel for the stretch in your bum and in your lower back. Good. Good. And we come back to the center and we're going to straighten ourselves back out. The next thing we're going to stretch is the back of our thighs, so the hamstring. So what you do is you hug the back of your leg and you try to straighten out your leg as much as you can while you pull the leg towards you. If you want to, you can't see right now, but you can bring your toes down so that your toes point towards yourself. So you bring the foot in that way and you stretch it out. And that will give you a bit more of a stretch in your calf. But if that's too much, you just relax the foot and you just bring your leg towards you. As long as you feel the stretch in here, you're stretching the hamstring. Good, lovely. You relax your foot, you bend your knee again, you stretch that leg out and move it towards the other leg. So grab the thigh, straighten out your leg and pull your leg towards yourself. Feel for the stretch here at the back of your thigh. Lovely. And if you wanted to, you can point your toes again, bring your toes towards yourself to have a bit more of a stretch in the back of your calf muscle. You might notice that after a few seconds you can also bring the leg closer towards yourself because the muscles will relax a little bit more. So do increase the tension if you can. Lovely. Right, relax the foot, bend the knee and straighten your leg back out. The last one I want you to do is for your bum muscles. So what you do is you're going to bring one leg up and cross it over onto the other thigh. And you put your hand onto your knee and push the knee down. So you should feel a stretch in your buttocks. In the buttocks on the side where your knee is in the air. Just push down. If you are quite flexible and you can go a little bit further, what you can do otherwise is to grab the other thigh and bring the leg towards yourself. But you don't have to do that. It's good enough to just push down onto the knee and feel for the stretch in your buttocks. Lovely. And swap legs. So bring your leg in, across onto your thigh and push onto the knee. Lovely. And again, you should feel the stretch in your buttocks. Well done. Or for the more mobile ones, grab the thigh and pull the leg in. Lovely. Well done. Relax the leg. You can grab one of your thighs and help yourself up. You're going to come back into our neutral position. Straighten out the legs. Do a few more shoulder rolls. A few forwards. And then backwards. Just to relax everything. Grab one arm. Pull it across your chest. Just to take the tension out of the shoulders. Well done. And the same thing on the other side. Across. Good. A few more seconds. Right. Okie dokie. And that was my little stretch routine. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any other questions, please get in touch. Thank you.